This is an Ivy League student's rating list. I want to take you through each one of my books, but critically why I picked each one out, and the key ideas I'm looking to explore in them. I have no problem putting down a book that I haven't finished, picking up a different book that I feel more inspired to read, skipping the parts I think is most interesting, or spontaneously ordering a new book when I'm feeling inspired. For me, it's all about idea exploration. And I think the types of ideas that I want to explore in these books craft into a larger cohesive narrative that tells a little bit about what I want to do and who I am. Hello, my name is Caden, and I am a rising third year at Cornell University studying cancer biology and the minor in AI. I do want to start off by saying that I got Elon Musk when he was not a controversial figure, and I'm not political or anything. As I mentioned, I was studying cancer biology, and that is one of the big questions about humanity. And I think as someone who's accomplished a lot on the big questions of humanity, I feel like I have a lot to learn. This is just my reading list, so I actually haven't read all these books, but I'm halfway through this book, and I'm definitely going to take a different approach to life in general. As Elon Musk, his personal life is something that I would not want to replicate myself, but I think nevertheless a lot to learn from answering big questions. The second book in that category is The Codebreaker, and as I was reading Elon Musk, I do like this author a lot, and this biography is more centered around someone also accomplishing great things in one of the big questions, CRISPR, gene editing, and I thought it was more related to what I want to do, so I figured that I have a lot to learn from someone who's accomplished great things in the science community. Ever since I've got to college and figured out more of what I like to do, I've gotten more inspired. An act to draw on that was getting both of these books. That brings me to my next book, which is The 4-Hour Workweek, and the main takeaways I'm looking to get from this mainly center around becoming financially free, so then I can spend my time however I want to. Whatever I choose to do, I don't have to feel tied down by that one source of income, and I get to feel like I choose to do it rather than I have to. And this is the only book in this category, which is entrepreneurship. But in terms of placing entrepreneurship and inspiration together, I feel like inspiration gives me the drive to do the things that I want to do, but also combining entrepreneurship allows me to be financially free and pursue the things that I really want to do. And the next book on this list is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And if you're not familiar, Marcus Aurelius is one of the big people in the Stoic philosophy. And the big ideas mainly center around regaining the locus of control. So if I'm walking down the street and someone calls me a loser, God forbid, then I can realize that that's not a reflection of me, and I don't actually have to be, and I can still proceed and have a good day as long as I recognize that I can choose to respond to it however I want to. I didn't like my original take on these, but basically what I was trying to get at is the fact that these are both books about existentialism, which highlights free choice, and the ideas that I'm looking to explore in them is free choice, and what that means is for God arguments in terms of Kierkegaard works, and then I would also look at against God works in terms of looking at Nietzsche's works and individual choice. And I think that ties nicely into Stoicism and the fact that you're kind of regaining this locus of control. He's basically just giving insights into wealth and happiness. And it's more about it's not a how-to guide, just giving you frameworks to kind of think about wealth and happiness and what that means for you. And I still think about the last sentence in this book, which is inspiration is perishable, act on it immediately. So I didn't like the original takes of these two books. I'm still new to this whole YouTube thing, but what I was trying to get at for this book basically was the fact that it's one of the earliest pieces of literature, and perhaps anything that I read after maybe has some sort of influence, maybe not. And then for this book, it was just recommended by a friend, but basically what I was getting at is that about halfway through this book, and he's a neurosurgeon, so he's really close to mortality all the time. And I think it's going to be interesting to explore how he's confronted with his own mortality when he is diagnosed with cancer. in the second half of the book. It's kind of weird to think about mortality because I am only 20 years old and I feel like I'm going to be living forever. But I know that's not the case. But like it's hard to really confront my own mortality. I feel like this book allows me to at least begin to understand like what that exactly means. The ideas that I'm looking to explore basically center around using this book as a supplement to works of inspiration where like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk are like all kind of crazy people, but this book would be like a good supplement. And that wraps up the last category, which is obviously philosophy. But what I do want to touch on in terms of how they all come together is that Musk sending people to Mars, gene editing, all big questions that I think are pretty interesting, and entrepreneurship is more of like a practical guide, and I think philosophy also connects to that in terms of like asking big questions, answering big questions about life. So basically they all come together to take different approaches to answering big questions.